Welcome to the Poor Man's Retro Game Room, and today I want to talk about 5 NES games that I feel are underrated. And some of these games I missed out on completely back in the day and have discovered later in life, and that's one of the coolest things about being a retro gamer is discovering new retro game experiences. And so that's what we're going to discuss today. And like I said, I got 5, I think, awesome NES games, and I'd love to hear your take on these games, and if you have any memories of playing these games, I'd love to hear that as well. And we're going to get started here without further ado. We're going to start off with the very first one, and this one I do have memories of. This is POW, and I've covered this before in the past. It's a really cool game. Now, I didn't own this back in the day, but I rented it all the time. I mean, we had a store that rented out NES games, but they didn't have a big selection. So POW was on the menu, and I was always disappointed, you know, if it was a weekend and I could go in and rent a game and POW was already gone. Man, I loved renting this game and loved playing it. I love beat 'em ups anyway, and finding a good beat 'em up on the NES is very cool. So POW, and of course, you know, it's a port from the arcade game, and it's not, you know, it loses some fidelity in the graphics. And I think that there's actually another button on the arcade, you know, game, the stand-up. So, you know, but I think if you look at this as just a NES game and don't think of it being so much of an arcade port, you know, you can give this game a lot better chance, and I think you'll like it. Finding a good beat 'em up on the NES is cool, and POW is that. It gets challenging in the later levels, of course. All NES games do. That's the way they're supposed to be, right? But it's just a lot of fun. The soundtrack grabs me and just pulls me in, and when I played this again after collecting it, man, it just brought all those memories back to me, and it was just a blast, and it is one of my go-tos right now, POW on the NES. Alright, so let's get to game number 4. Now this one I did not play back in the day, and I really dig this game. It is excellent, and it's got a lot of, you know, the controls are excellent, and I'd heard about it, you know, when I started recollecting and getting back into retro gaming, you know, 5 or 6, 7 years ago, and just never picked it up. Well, I finally made a trade and picked up Heavy Barrel. This game is really cool, and the way I kind of look at it as, this is what Commando on the NES should have been. I loved Commando in the arcade, and I never played Heavy Barrel in the arcade. I'm pretty sure it's an arcade port, but let me know in the comments. I'm not real positive on that, so don't quote me on that. But man, it's an arcade style vertical scrolling some ways, and sometimes it's side scrolling. But it's an overhead view, kind of like Commando. But the graphics are way better on the NES. The controls are tight, and you know, you're killing those red soldiers and trying to find keys to open up chests, and you're trying to build that heavy barrel weapon. You'll see, you know, if you run over the right chest, you'll see a little piece of that gun pop down into the gun icon on your heads up display there. And you know, there's some really powerful weapons too. I mean, you can take down a chopper with a flamethrower with no problem. So Heavy Barrel, I completely suggest and highly recommend playing Heavy Barrel. It's an awesome NES game. Alright, now let's go to a couple that I was really happy to add to my collection over the years here. One of them is Power Blade, and I know Power Blade 2 is an excellent game, but man, that game, if I wanted to get that, it's out of my reach. It's way too expensive, and I believe I got this copy for under 40 bucks, which was a really good deal, because I think it goes for around 50. But I really dig Power Blade, man. I don't even know how to start to explain it, but it's a side scroller. You can go to different areas right off the bat. I wouldn't suggest going, I would go to the first area because it is challenging. This game is very challenging, but it's very fun, and if it's fun and challenging, it justifies putting that time in to learn how to play the game, and Power Blade is that good. And you're wanting to get that power suit, and man, when you get that thing, I thought, boy, the first time I got that, I thought, like, man, I'm going to be invincible. No, you still take hits, and it's very easy to lose, but if you can hang on to it, it's awesome. You can wreak havoc. So, really cool power-ups, really good gameplay, stage design, graphics, music, everything. Power Blade has it all on the NES, so I highly recommend Power Blade. And then we're going to look at another game that's kind of like Heavy Barrel. And let me know if you've played this. Guerilla, I want to say Guerilla Warfare, but it's just Guerilla War. Guerilla War. I always call it Guerilla Warfare for some reason, but an offering from SNK, and it is excellent, man. It's very hard, very challenging, but it is a blast. And of course, it's like that vertical scrolling kind of commando style game, but it's a lot of fun, man. I find myself playing this a lot. It's a really good game. I haven't beat it. Nope. But I get farther every time I play it, and it's a game I completely missed out on back in the day. If I'd have had this back in the day, man, I'd have played the heck out of it. It's excellent, and it's really tough for me to decide to recommend this over Heavy Barrel. Boy, they're real similar. Man, I don't know. It's just about a toss-up in my opinion. Man, I don't know, but Guerilla War is excellent. It's a great game for the NES. A lot of fun, great power-ups. You can get into tanks, all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Guerilla War, man, I highly recommend you check it out any way you can. Now the next game that I wanted to talk about is one I'd kind of heard about. I've had some friends recommend it to me, and when they talked about it, it seemed really cool. But it was a little expensive. I think it was around $50. But I actually found a good deal on one, and well, it's probably because it's defaced a little bit. But man, this game rocks, and I've been playing the heck out of it lately. And that is Vice Project Doom. This game rocks, man. There's 4 different play styles in the game. Actually, let's see, 3. Sorry. Driving, side-scrolling, and kind of a first-person shooting gallery type of game that is actually really good. It does all 3 of those genres very well. And another really cool thing about it is there's tons of cutscenes, and it reminds me of maybe Ninja Gaiden, Batman a little bit. It's just cool, and those cutscenes really remind me of Ninja Gaiden. But Vice Project Doom is an outstanding game, and I've been playing the heck out of it, like I said. It's just a lot of fun, and the replayability to the game is excellent. It starts getting tougher in the mid to later stages, but it is beatable. It really is, and you can memorize the levels and the enemies and the boss patterns and so forth. But I can't recommend Vice Project Doom enough. This game rocks. I saved the best to the last. Man, if you haven't checked this out, check it out any way you can, because you will not be disappointed. But anyway, there you go. 5 awesome NES games that I feel are underrated. And like I said, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. We also have memberships available, and I want to thank our members, of course. And, right on the homepage, you can go there and go to membership and sign up if you're interested in something like that. They are going to see this video before everybody else is, of course. And, it's just been a really cool thing being on YouTube. And another thing is we did just celebrate the 3,000 sub milestone. And that's a big deal to me. I never thought I would hit 1,000. I just started this because I'm passionate about video games, and I wanted to have some fun, and I didn't have very high expectations, but man, I feel very lucky and very blessed anyway. So thank you for hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching this video, and until next time, we'll catch you later.